So I happened to meet a national treasure who was a master potter, Hanna Mitchell, in '98, and got to work with her all the spring of 1999. And it was such a wonderful experience because I learned so much about my own Native American culture that I'd never really been exposed to. Even though my mom, my grandma were full blood and they spoke Cherokee in the home, I actually got caught up because my mom didn't speak English when she started first grade, so she said, my kids are going to speak English. So that's happened there, and even though I was around the Cherokee language a lot, and we, did so many traditional things, we did a lot of things in nature. One of my favorite things to do was go to Saline Creek, where the water is like 58 degrees year-round, which is very similar to the Cherokee homeland, the clear spring-fed water. And we ate crawdads, or G-stun for the Cherokee word for crawdads, poke salad, wild onions and scrambled eggs, and I feel like I grew up with the food culture, but because my mom was the eldest of 7, and so she kind of helped raise her kids. So my grandma and my mom, they were busy raising kids and just trying to put food on the table because, like a lot of Indian families, I was born in 1952, we were still just trying to make it from week to week. I had an awesome childhood though, so never had TV till I was like 6 years old. My grandkids have a real hard time understanding that. But once I met Hanna, and she encouraged me to get into the research, with the books or libraries or on the internet, it really changed my outlook on my own Cherokee culture, because I never had taken art, I never even been to a Native American art show until I worked with Hanna in the spring, and then in the fall I was able to get into a show and won a nice ribbon and sold all the stuff off my table that was all cattywampus, but it still represented something that collectors, I guess, wanted to see from a Southeastern person, a Southeastern tribe person, because there weren't that many people doing what we call a more traditional style of pottery. So when I worked with Hanna, just going to dig the clay and hand processing and doing all the things by hand was such a life-changing experience. And that's exactly what I enjoy by opportunities like this with Artists in Residence program. So if I can snag people in, and let them know that we are a very viable nation, that when we're preserving our traditional arts, our own Cherokee tribe, they're doing what they call Cherokee immersion classes for the younger people, so they're learning the Cherokee language, and our first language speakers, they're really kind of dying out, so that's a really important thing to me. Well, I only know a few words myself. Unless you have someone to converse with, it's really a difficult language, but they are preserving it through their music and songs, and so with that aspect of it, it's awesome. And the tribe really supports our Native American Cherokee artists by doing art shows, doing workshops so that we can share, what we've been doing with people that are interested in it. So that's been a great experience for me, and I continue to enjoy it even after, over 20 years of doing this. So. Well, when my son, my youngest child, was coming home from college and there was no more ball games, and it's like, what do I do? And I actually took a wheel throwing pottery class at the local studio ran by the Tulsa Parks and Recreation. And it was great working on the wheel. You know, you could, as long as you learned how to center, you could like build a nice coffee cup or a mug or something. But while I was taking that class, I actually ran across a brochure about Hanna Mitchell. Hanna Mitchell has passed, because this was in like 1998. And she had been the honored one at our Red Earth Festival that's held in Oklahoma City every year. And I read about her and I phoned the Red Earth. I said, I don't know why, but I really think that I need to meet this lady. It's just the right time in my life, and I want, you know, she knows all about, she's self-taught with the pottery. And so they said, well, we won't give you her number, but we can call her and she can call you if she likes. Well, I was at work the next day and she called. And she says, oh, just come on, you know, come up and visit. She lived in Bonita, Oklahoma, which was 60 miles from my house. And so we made an appointment, and my husband's aunt, I said, oh, Aunt Betty, we're going to go meet this awesome lady. Won't you come with me? We'll go have lunch. It'll be a great day. So we did. We spent, you know, like 4 or 5 hours with her. And at the end of the visit with Anna, she said, well, are you interested in learning about this yourself? And at that moment was like the big change for me. My path changed. She says, I can see that you're really hungry to learn, you know, about, you know, this beautiful ancient art form. I would be the single one person that would come and work with her, like every Saturday, or maybe even once through the week if maybe a neighbor called and said, hey, we're digging a septic line over here and there's this awesome clay, and she'd call me and say, you know, you want to go get some clay, you know, today? So, one of my favorite books is called Sun Circles in Human Hands, because it just has a wealth of information about not just the pottery, but the mounds and a lot of the different artifacts that were found through the mounds throughout the southeastern part of the United States. The flint points, you know, just designs, pottery design, shell carving design. And so we call this our Bible book, because what Anna's teachings were, is what I try to offer my students as well, is like, don't look at those artifacts and those old pieces to try to duplicate them, but be inspired by them, to try to keep those wonderful designs alive. They're part of your culture, and so, but make it unique to your own pieces. So that is what I try to do. You know, I don't really try to make the same thing twice. And there's so many different designs and shapes. You know, anywhere from miniatures, and a lot of the pieces were, most of the pieces were functional use. You know, which mine really aren't functional. I haven't really tried to cook in any of my vessels, but a lot of the potters do. And honestly, they've already been in a fire, probably like at least 1,500 degrees, so they should, you know, withstand the heat. But just so many different shapes, sizes, designs, you know, that really keep your interest going. When I quit going there like every Saturday, she was just a phone call away, and she made that very clear. And we became, you know, friends. She was full blood, and she reminded me so much of my own mother, who was full blood. So we had that connection until she passed, you know. And that's really what I want to do, you know, just keep honoring her legacy. And maybe pass it down to my own grandkids, maybe their kids, you know. So just, we don't have that lineage like the Southwest potters do, but we do have a start.